and welcome to the 𝗦𝗵𝗲 and 𝗥𝗵𝗲 show. We're always so excited and pleased to have you with us because you know what? 80% is showing up, and we value you because you showed up. I mean, you could be doing, you have your business and you have your job, you could be at work, and but the fact that you always take out your time and we always want to share our knowledge, I mean, that's the most important thing. We are sharing our knowledge so that you can improve your life and really escalate to where you want it to go. So you know what, that is amazing. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for each and every day you join us. So today I'm going to be leading the conversation, and today I'm going to be talking about your infinite mind. But before I do go ahead, I want to introduce, my name is 𝗥𝗵𝗲.
My name is 𝗦𝗵𝗲, and
welcome to
our show.
All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. All righty. So as I was saying, I'm going to talk about today your infinite mind and how your mind has the potential. Your mind has the potential to achieve so much more than what we give. Your mind has so much potential to what we give credit to. So today I'm going to be talking about your infinite mind. So your infinite mind. So when it comes to your infinite mind, I'm going to explain in the illustration here, because this is always an amazing illustration that I always love, because it really shows you, where we are, right? And we always want to be here when, in our subconscious. So we've got your conscious, we've got your subconscious, and your subconscious is where we, is your feeling part of your mind, is your feeling, and your conscious mind is your, the educated, the intellectual part of your mind. And so when you want the results in your life, doesn't matter what they might be, but if you're looking for the results you want, you always want to be operating from your subconscious mind. And why do we do that? Because, as I said, your subconscious is the feeling, and it's the emotional, right? Is the emotional part of your mind. And so what do you need to do to elevate? And I did explain this in the previous show, that how do you elevate your vibrations? So if you are, and I gave the example of the AM and the FM station. So if you are at an AM dial on the radio, and you are wanting to go to the FM, but your vibration right now is on a very low frequency. You are very low. You are, and why do our minds operate on a lower frequency? Well, there are two reasons why your mind does operate on a lower frequency, and let's take a look at that. So when we talk about the low frequency, why is it we do that? Because one is our paradigms, and I talked about this. What is your paradigms? Your paradigms is those habitual behaviors, is your habitual behaviors that over time, what we do, what we say, and is how we act, those repeatedly over time, is you are setting yourself up to fail. And so if we don't correct our paradigms, if we don't correct this important factor right here, if you don't correct your paradigms, because let me give you an example. So your infinite mind, which is what I'm talking about today, your infinite mind, meaning your mind has so much potential. Your mind is a very complex tool. Your mind has if you internally look at the brain, if you look at your brain on a scan, it has so many networks. It is a very complex machine, but at the same time, your mind is infinite, meaning it has the potential to give you, and you can achieve so much more. But you know what? Sometimes we don't often achieve what we want. We don't often, get the results we want, is because we set ourselves up for not achieving that. And what do I mean by that? Is because we are limiting ourselves. And so number one is your paradigms. And then number two is your limiting beliefs. So this too is a very important one, is your limiting beliefs. If you do not, as I said, your mind, today's conversation is about your infinite mind and how much potential you really have, how much potential you can achieve to having everything and doing everything that you want. But sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes we are limiting ourselves for our own capabilities. We don't see that. And that is very unfortunate, that we don't see our capabilities. We're not able to, we're always like, okay, let me give an example. So say, for example, you are, okay, let me give you, what are some of your desires or your wants? Say you want, so in terms of money, you want to, I don't know, 100 a month is what you want, right? Question I want to ask you is, what are you willing to do? There are two things that Bob Proctor always says. What are you willing to do? And are you willing and able to do that? And what is it going to take for you to take actions to do that, to achieving that 100,000? Because as you just said, that is your goal. And so you will do anything right now. What are you going to be doing? What actions are you going to be taking? What steps will you take to achieving that 100,000 a month? So you're going to take little baby steps. But what are those baby steps to getting you to the goal, to getting you to the FM frequency? You don't want to stay at the AM. And so your results are controlled by your actions, by your behaviors, and by our thinking. If I go back to the stick person, this is a great illustration right here, because your stick person, this diagram was introduced by a very famous Viennese psychiatrist in 1904. And, so this diagram itself is very potent, because it really, it illustrates as to what's happening in our mind. It really illustrates as to what's happening both in the conscious, the subconscious, and internally, what happens in our bodies. So if we don't pay attention, then, your infinite mind really has the potential. Really, your mind has so much potential, but we just don't realize that. And so basically what you want to do to be able to get the results you want to know, okay, well, what would it look like? What would your life look like today? If this is your results, I want to ask yourself, what would life look like? Right? So if you ask yourself that question, what would your life look like if you knew your mind, your infinite mind, had the potential to achieving anything you wanted, achieving anything, getting anything? doing anything. You knew that? What would your life look like today? What would your life look like? Let me know. Drop it in the comments. Let me know, what would your life look like if you change the trajectory of your life? If you operated your infinite mind, if you operated the rate that you know you want to operate on. Because that's a question. Once we begin to ask ourselves those questions, then life becomes so much easier. Like, we can navigate our life to where we want to, to where we want to lead our life to. But if we are always operating on the on this part, on our paradigms, if we're always operating on our limiting beliefs that, I don't think I'm worthy of $100,000, or I don't think I can, if you constantly keep on saying those affirmations, if you keep on affirming to yourself, I don't think I can, I don't think I can, well, you know what, you won't, because you've just told yourself, you already told your subconscious right here that you are not worthy of getting that. If you remember the conversation that I talked about, your worthy ideal, are you worthy of that goal that you want, right? So right now, you already told your subconscious that you are not worthy of that. Your mind, your infinite mind, your potential that you have to create the life you want, to have the life you want, you've already told that, you're not worthy of that. And so what's going to happen? Your subconscious is, and you know what? And the reverse of that, if you have the potential, you have so much potential, your infinite mind has the potential to really give you everything that you want. You've taken the steps, you've taken everything to work towards that. And as I said, if your goal was the 100,000 a month, if that was your goal, you're taking the steps, you're doing everything. But then the reverse also is true. If you are at the AM dial, at the lower frequency, and you want to get up to the FM frequency, there are so many steps in between that we need to take. However, your paradigms will always come in your way and stop you in your tracks. Just at that moment, just at that right old moment when you are doing amazing, or taking those amazing steps to getting to the FM, getting to the higher frequency. Your paradigms will always come in and stop you in your tracks and will say, no, I don't think you are going up to get the $100,000. I don't think you are worthy of getting to that goal. So it is unfortunate, but there are people who, they're always listening to their voice. They're always listening to that dialogue inside of them, and they are always because they are listening to that inner dialogue that always happens to every one of us. That prevents us to achieving that. And so I just wanted to talk about this, because it's the potential that we have, and yet at times we don't realize that we have those potentials. And so this topic in itself is very powerful. It goes, every single chapter is leading on to the preceding chapters. So I wanted to just come on and just talk about this, because this right here, I'm going to stop, because there's a lot to digest. I do understand, but I want you to just play around with your mind right now. I want you to play around with what's happening at the conscious, what's happening at the subconscious, what's happening internally in your body, and how you can release those emotions. And you might ask me, well, okay, so it's very well said and done, but how do I release the emotions? How do I release if I'm in that negative vibration, if I'm at the lower frequency? I want you to write down your goals. Exactly. Simple as that. I do that. This is an exercise I do every morning. I want you to write down your goals, morning and night. And why do we do that? And you can even do that in between your, morning, afternoon, evening. So even every time in between, you can do that. That is perfectly fine. But why do we do that? Because we are honing into our mind. And when we put it to pen to paper, I want you to put it on paper, not on your phone. Because when you put your thoughts down onto the pad, there's an electrical vibration that happens. There's neurons that are happening in your mind that directly from your pad to your pen to paper, there's an electricity, there's a vibration already happening, but not on your phone or your tablet. So I want you to write down your goals, and this is very important. So, and have soothing music. I do this. I put on classical music and I love it. I have a great time. But writing down your goals, what you want, and when you put your thoughts down on paper, you will begin to see things happening. Your infinite mind is going to elevate to the point that you always wanted to be at. So I'm just going to leave that thought with you. Ria, anything that you want to share? What's happening?
Yes, thank you for that, Alka. I remembered Robert Kiyosaki, who's one of my mentors, said, your brain is your biggest asset. From your ear to the left, to the other side of the ear, we should protect this. And you are correct. Sometimes we have to stimulate ourselves with listening to classical music, with meditation, with breathing, and then being surrounded by great environment, So
exactly. You're welcome. Your environment is your looking glass. So, surround yourself with, environment that is soothing. Surround yourself with an environment that's calming. Surround yourself with the environment that is more conducive to your infinite mind, right? So that's very, very important. And, I've shared so many tools with you, what you can do. Meditation is just phenomenal. Once you begin to master meditation, it truly is. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. Okay, so I did not think that meditation, I did not think I was the one to do meditation to sit still. But then, everything's practice, everything's habitual. And the more you practice one particular craft, you get better. And now I just absolutely love it. The same person did not think meditation was for me. But now, I'm loving it. So you got to love something, but you got to do it. You got to do it often. You got to do it more often. And the more often you do that one thing, you're going to get good at it. So I'm going to leave that with you. And, let me know, how do you find the meditation practice, and what are you doing? As I just said, the exercise I want you to do is to write down your goals, and you can write them down throughout the day. But I'm going to leave this here. And, I hope that this truly helps you to where you are today, and how you're going to really elevate in your life, what you're going to be doing, and how you really want to use your mind, the capacity, the infinite mind that you are blessed to be given, and take advantage, and what you can do. So what you can do is the tools that I've shared with you: meditation, visualization, affirmations. What you need to affirm to yourself every single day counts to your mind, because what you say, your mind hears, your subconscious especially hears what you say. When in your woken up state, when you go to sleep, your mind hears what you are saying, and your mind, your infinite mind, will give to you. But you have to be at that space. You have to be in that place to be able to have that conducive environment. That is the key. You need to be in a conducive environment to have it. So friends, I'm going to leave it right here, but we have come to the end of another amazing show, and we look forward to seeing you same time, same place, and make the rest of the day the best of your day. And we will see you come tomorrow.